Hello and welcome to Cyber Charlie's DevSecOps Roadmap session for 2024. This is everything you need to know, from certifications to projects you require and knowledge you require to landing a high-paying DevSecOps role. And how do I know this? Well, I've been working in cybersecurity and DevSecOps for over a decade now. I have built DevSecOps teams from the ground up in organizations across governance, finance, investment management, insurance, defense, a whole range of different industries, and I'm imparting this knowledge to you. That's the idea of this whole channel. And I've reviewed thousands of CVs for people wanting to get into DevSecOps roles. I have done hundreds of interviews, both me interviewing for, as well as having people that come to work for me interviewing in a DevSecOps role as well. So I know exactly what organizations want to see on the CVs and how to get that assurance that someone can do an actual DevSecOps role. So today I'm going to go through a whole roadmap plan end to end, right the way from zero knowledge, even if you don't have any prior technical knowledge and you're in a completely different career. It doesn't matter how old you are. I have seen people do this career when they've spent 30 years in a completely different industry, non-tech related, and come into DevSecOps if they get the right skills, and then I've upskilled them as well. So that's why I'm sharing this knowledge here with you today. So first of all, if we take a look at this roadmap plan, we start off with zero knowledge. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a Jira Atlassian account, as well as a Gmail account, so we can get access to draw.io. Now, why are we using this technology? Well, Jira is a really key tool. In a DevSecOps role, you're going to spend a lot of time working with software engineering teams, joining their stand-ups, adding issues and epics to their boards. So in order to have those conversations, and this is really key in the interview as well, it's best to just start using Jira yourself. So what I recommend you do is when you plan out your entire journey and what you're going to study and what week, what day, what month, use Jira to do it. Because then you're using a key technology that you're going to use in the actual role straight away from the offset. So set up a Jira account and plan out your Jira epics and tasks, and use the timeline view in Jira to do that. And then on draw.io, I want you to start practicing drawing out diagrams, because in a DevSecOps role, you're going to be drawing a lot of high-level diagrams, data flow diagrams when you do things like threat modeling, which I'll come on to a bit later. So you want to draw those diagrams out and draw all that planning out. But to start off with, in draw.io, draw out your entire cyber journey, what you want to learn, where you want to get to. You can have it as a mind map. Then I recommend you look for a mentor in DevSecOps. So obviously follow this channel, please, and I'm going to provide lots of mentoring. This is the launch of the channel now. So we're going to be doing several videos a week in teaching you how to upskill in cybersecurity and DevSecOps. But I recommend you either join a bootcamp, like my bootcamp. So I run the Cyber DevSecOps bootcamp, which I've been running for some months now. It's a huge success. So I strongly recommend you have a look at that, or follow my advice in these videos, and you can do it yourself, mostly for free as well. Okay. So once you've done your planning journey, the first thing you need to do is actually start a generic certification. Okay, so I actually recommend you start looking at either you join a bootcamp, or I recommend you start doing either the Google Cyber Security certificate, which is free. You just sign up to a monthly subscription with Coursera, which isn't that much, just to get the basics of cybersecurity understood, particularly if you don't have a previous technical background, or start revising for CompTIA Security Plus. Now, arguably you could do both, but that will take a bit more time, because you can actually get a discount when you do the Google certificate. They give you a discount voucher for taking your CompTIA. CompTIA does cost a bit of money. Now, CompTIA is more recognized in industry as a good cybersecurity certification, but Google Cybersecurity includes Python, it includes automation. I think it's a bit more practical for the job role that you're going to do in the future. So either pick one of those or do both. Then you need to start getting hands-on with the technology yourself, which no one's going to teach you, okay? So first of all, you're going to download Visual Studio Code, which is known as an Integrated Development Environment, IDE, and you're going to start create a .md file and push some code to a GitHub repo. So go onto github.com, create yourself a GitHub account, and push your first line of code. And you also need to download something called Git, which allows you to do your source control connection. Now, we do this on the bootcamp, but you can do this yourself if you follow along to YouTube videos, for example, and use Stack Overflow if you have any questions or if anything breaks. Really common. I spend loads of time in Stack Overflow. Okay, so just get that feel of how you push code, because in a DevSecOps role, it's really key. You don't need to understand every software language when you do a DevSecOps role, because I have worked with hundreds of software engineering teams over the years, all in different languages. Why would I need to know all the languages? But I do have an appreciation of how they work, so I can integrate my security tooling, and I'm going to come to that in a bit. So understand how that works, and the best way to do it is try it yourself. Push your first line of code. Then I recommend you create yourself an AWS account. Cloud technology, particularly AWS, is the best thing to learn, because all production environments, as more companies move from on-premise servers to production, everyone's going to the cloud. Now, AWS is the best to learn because actually it's a bit funner, and 39% I think of organizations actually use AWS. The others are Azure or GCP, and there's some other cloud providers you can use as well. Now, if you learn AWS, the technology behind AWS, Azure, GCP is pretty much the same anyway. So once you learn one, you come to understand the terms and you can quickly pick up the other one anyway. That's why I recommend you start off with AWS. So get familiar with AWS, create a free account, deploy some WordPress EC2 instances, use Fargate for some serverless technology, deploy some containers, know how to understand how to deploy a VPC. I'm going to do all this in future videos as well. Then I want you to get familiar with Terraform. Terraform is an infrastructure as code language. Really easy. You just go into Visual Studio Code, create a .tf file and start writing some Terraform, watch some YouTube videos, and then deploy an S3 bucket in AWS using Terraform. So easy to do. Okay. Then what I want you to do is use something called GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions is a pipeline technology. Now in a DevSecOps role, it's really key you understand how pipeline deployments work, because that's actually how we integrate our security tooling is via a pipeline. So GitHub Actions is going to be the future latest tool that everyone's going to use. A lot of companies are moving away from things like Jenkins, GitLab, and other pipeline technology, and actually moving to GitHub Actions now. There's also a certificate you can do, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So what I want you to do is automate your Terraform deployments using GitHub Actions. And then what we're going to do is we're going to integrate security tooling such as Trivy to do infrastructure as code scanning as part of a pipeline job. So really key you get familiar with that. Then what I want you to do is start learning some light penetration testing. Now in a DevSecOps role, you don't need to be an expert penetration tester. Chances are you're going to use a third party all the time to do your expert pen testing, but it does help to have a high level understanding of how pen testing works. The best way to do that is actually get hands on yourself. Now, I recommend you use tryhackme.com to actually start knowing the OWASP top 10, so cover the OWASP top 10 and do some of their modules. And you can also use their own environment to play with Kali Linux and other pen testing technology. But the best thing to do is download something called Docker and download the JuiceShop image, pull the JuiceShop image onto Docker and actually deploy JuiceShop. Well, JuiceShop is a deliberately vulnerable application that you can do your own pen testing on, and you can do challenges and get points. So between TryHackMe and JuiceShop, you can really get to understand some basic pen testing, which is really key in a DevSecOps role, and cover the OWASP top 10, which is really key. Then you need to get familiar with threat modeling. Threat modeling, the key things you want to look at for that are Lockheed Martin cyber attack kill chain, the Stride framework, as well as MITRE ATT&CK. Those are the three main things I need you to research. Do a threat modeling workshop yourself. We cover threat modeling a lot on the bootcamp. I do threat modeling day in, day out in a DevSecOps role. Teach all my teams how to do threat modeling. I've been doing it for many, many years. Then I want you to download something called SonarQube or CodeQL and then run that as a SAST scan. I'm going to do future lectures on what SAST scans are and SCA scans are. And what you want to do is you want to start building a project to put on your CV. This is really key, right? Because we're getting the certifications, but we need the real life projects so that we can actually prove we can do the job role. Whenever I go into an interview and I go, can I share my screen and show you a project? Or I put the GitHub repo as a line on my CV and I put the project as experience. They can then click on that repo and see all my pipeline jobs, all the security steps I do, the threat modeling I do, and they go, wow, this person's ready for the job. So I want to make sure you actually look at the actual projects you get and have on your CV. So build those projects out with the real life technology that you use and get familiar with. Even your AWS projects, you can have that as Terraform code in your repo, which I'll do other videos on as well. So you want 2 to 3 projects and you can have them on your CV, or actually you can share your screen during the interview and actually do them. Then certification. So by this point, you should have already started your generic cyber cert, which is either the Google Cybersecurity Certificate or CompTIA Security Plus. Then you want to start learning AWS Cloud Practitioner. Now you can learn this alongside you actually using the AWS console. There is a debate between Cloud Practitioner and Solutions Architect. So for example, I have Solutions Architect, which is a really good one, but it does take quite a few months to get. So you could start off with Cloud Practitioner or jump straight to Solutions Architect. Then I recommend you get the GitHub Actions certificate, which is actually really easy to do, doesn't cost that much, and you should already be familiar with GitHub Actions because I told you to do it. And then the Terraform Associate certificate as well, HashiCorp's Terraform Associate. Those certs and that combination of certs is really key for a DevSecOps role, and it's really going to make you stand out amongst everyone else. No one else has this, by the way. Now in your first role, you should be now ready with your real life projects and experience, all your certificates and the tooling and technology you've used as I've described here all on the screen. Then what you want to start doing is applying for your first role, and you're looking at between the kind of 50, 60K mark base. Stay in that, and during that role, you don't need to be getting promoted or anything like that, because internal promotions never pay that well anyway at any organization. So what you want to do is work with DevOps teams, cloud platform teams, your software engineering teams, soak up as much knowledge and experience to deploying these security tools as part of their pipelines, spend around 9 months to a year in this role, then leave the role. Okay, if you want to get those salary increases, you do have to leave the role. Leave the role, your second role you want between 80 to 100, and focus again on then getting other certs during the role, like solutions architect, etc. Second role, you want 80 to 100 base. And so this is where you can land your first 100K role. By the way, I have seen this isn't me just saying this, I have paid people these salaries after these years' experience with this technology they've got on their CVs, and I have helped mentor people to get to these salaries before as well. I was mentoring one guy who was only in cybersecurity for 11 months, came to me, we got these projects for him, and he landed a 75K a year role after 11 months in cybersecurity. So he'll easily get to 6 figures in under a year and a half, which is just crazy. So it's absolutely doable. Believe me, the roles are out there. Just get these skills and follow this knowledge, or go on the bootcamp and I'll mentor you. And actually, the bootcamp covers all this technology and gives you all these skills and the projects as well. So we actually give you these projects and we go through them live with me. Second role, same thing again. Focus on certification, soaking up knowledge. You're not going to get promoted. Then after 9 months, you want to go for your last and final senior DevSecOps role where, and believe me, I've paid people more than this in roles. You're looking at between 115K all the way up to 130 base. And you can have bonus and equity on top of that. So there is no limit to a DevSecOps role. Massively in high demand. Follow along to this video. Reach out to me if you have any questions, or look at joining the bootcamp. Let me know. Good luck. 2024 is your year. These certifications, these projects, companies need this. It's all about solving a challenge a company has. So when you look at the job descriptions that you see online, they are looking and advertising for someone to solve the problems they have. These skills, this technology, these certifications is the culmination of the dream role for a DevSecOps engineer that's future-proofed, focused on the cloud technology, the serverless applications, AI technology, as well as pipeline deployments. Companies need this. Companies have many security challenges in this area. Good luck. Reach out if you have any questions. You can absolutely do this. 2024 is your year. And subscribe. Subscribe to this channel and look for many more future videos on DevSecOps and cybersecurity. Good luck.